scary. So, Bill, we're going to turn now to Bill Mulligan.
Yeah,
Or
I'm gonna have to probably take off after this because I've just been informed there's a problem with some classes I need to teach next week virtually.
okay,
I'm not used to Google Classroom. They keep throwing. I just when I get used to Canvas, they throw something new at me. But
Uh,
in the meantime, this would be a great time to like and subscribe and go through our whole playlist and just like things like crazy. Buy my book. What? Yeah.
absolutely.
Um, just
Buy Chuck's book too.
yeah, buy
oh
all
yeah,
the books.
yeah.
Listen, hey, you see what happened this week that like MTV.com just erased everything. They just,
Right.
so all this stuff that's on virtual media, everything that's in the web, everything that's in the cloud, clouds
It can
dissipate,
go
clouds
away.
go away. It can
Yeah.
disappear. They can go into the stuff you got on. You think you got it on your Netflix queue, whatever. They go in there and take all the cigarettes out or whatever the hell.
But you know
Yeah.
what word? But you know what
Hard medium.
word among the cognoscenti and even the fan bros of our general space have found out from research, of their daily research, is that Blu-rays are now having unexpected resurgence. They're about to spike at the best selling they've ever been,
Well,
and a
that's
great portion of them are boutique labels and cult movies, not
Hmm.
huge
Oh yeah.
films.
I mean,
but it's going to
I
be
have in the last couple of years increased my buying
Yeah,
of those types of things because I'm
me too.
realizing how easy it is for these things to just disappear
Precious.
that I
Yeah,
want to revisit, you know.
absolutely.
I got a feeling we're all going to end up like the people at the end of the movie Fahrenheit 451, just walking around muttering to ourselves because we're the last ones to remember some of this stuff. It's a
Right.
Yeah, we're reciting our books. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
it's a
Yeah.
crazy. That sounds almost optimistic now, but
Yeah,
anyway.
right.
Well, so here's something to pick me up. Now, this TV show was recommended to it by a dear friend of mine, Emily Vassilos, an actress out in Hollywood that I've made a few movies with, and just one of
Oh
my
wow.
best friends. She kept telling me over and over again about this great show, this great show. And I'm kind of over situation comedies for the most part.
Same.
They're fine, but they've just everything's kind of become sort of the same. Maybe something will come along that'll knock my socks off again, and I'm more than open to that. So I thought I'd give it a shot. I went out to visit another friend. Emily and I went to visit a friend down in South Carolina, and we started watching this show. And I got hooked. Good call, Emily. Great stuff. The Good Place. And this
Yeah.
is a highly intelligent, funny situation, comedy, fantasy, philosophy. There's a lot going on here.
Mhm.
And the premise is that our main character, who's not a particularly nice woman, wakes up in heaven. And heaven is a lovely place. Everyone's happy. You can get all the frozen yogurt you want. Uh, the sky is always shiny. No, it's just perfect. You're given a nice place to stay. Everything's fine. And she quickly realizes that there is no way she belongs there, that there's been a terrible
Wow.
mistake. Yeah.
Takes a lot of
And
self-awareness.
right. And yeah, surprisingly amount, but um finds that there's another person there, a monk who has taken a vow of silence, who also is not at all a monk and has not taken a vow of silence. He just smartly figured out that if he keeps his mouth shut, no one will realize that he also doesn't belong there. And they meet a philosopher, a guy who very nice guy, a good person, but very indecisive. There's a Cardassian. Let's just say that that's basically what she is.
A diva.
Yeah, and all these they begin to realize that there's something wrong here. And the first season is essentially them trying not to let on, especially to Ted Danson, who's the
Yeah.
head angel, who's in charge of all this, that they don't belong there. And at the end of season one, this is something I don't particularly like about situation comedies. I say I don't like them, but I love What We Do in the Shadows, and I like the American version of Ghost. So I'm a liar. Um, the this need for cliffhangers,
Yeah.
which every season ends with a cliffhanger. And the problem with this is inevitably the day will come when the bastards in charge cancel the show, and then we're stuck with a cliffhanger that never gets
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's a little
That's one of the
irritating, but
things I like, for example, about the show, The Righteous Gemstones. It every season, it could be the end. They always end the season in a way where if we don't get another season, we're good
I
every time. And they get picked up for another season. They end that season in a way it could be the end. But if they get picked up, great.
I totally approve. I think there's way too many laws in this country, but I'd be willing to have two more laws. One, every show needs to do that. After a certain number of seasons, you can't leave us hanging. And two, if a show runs more than 3 or 4 seasons, you've got to film a final episode.
You
I
gotta
don't
let
care
it
if
go.
it's
Yeah.
if a safe falls out of a building and crushes everyone. Just give me an ending. We do not leave them on Gilligan's Island.
No,
Right.
human
So-
beings crave closure, and we
Right.
need that.
So there's a big twist, and it's not a shocking twist.
It's
in
a
fact,
hilarious one.
It's a hilarious twist, and it makes perfect sense. And it also totally recreates the show for season 2. Season 2 is going to be like a breath of fresh air because the script has been flipped, and then it happens again, and then for all 4 seasons, they managed to keep this premise going, which amazes me. And the secret, once again, were good characters, brilliantly cast.
Yeah.
Everyone in this show is totally well cast. Kristen Bell is our main character. Like I say, she is not a good person, but we get to like her, and she wants to be better. It's just that she's awful, but but she gets that, and
She's good at
so-
playing that kind of character. So I know.
Yeah. William Harper is the Nigerian professor of ethics. He's terrific. Just everyone in the show is great. There's no one in here who's bad.
Yeah.
But special comment to Darcy Carden as Janet, who
Oh,
is
yes.
an AI guide, I suppose. If AI was like this, it'd be great. Janet is always helpful. Of course, I'm talking about good Janet, because it turns out
Yes.
there's also the bad place, and the bad place has bad Janet.
Oh.
And there's also kind of like the middle place that
Yes.
yeah, so-
Purgatory, basically.
right. We start meeting various characters, and there's some characters that don't have a whole lot to do, but they're very fun. It turns out one human being, it turns out it's very complicated to figure out the point system on whether you go to the good place or the bad
Yeah, you
place.
get there.
Very complicated. And in the history of the human race, only one person, while he was taking some magic mushrooms, ever figured it out. Most religions got about 5% right. He got it 100% right. His picture is on the wall, and we meet him. It's a great
brilliant
show, and it has an actual ending. And I gotta say, the ending is bittersweet,
Mhm.
thought-provoking, and absolutely right for everything that's gone before. The payoff is worth the investment of 4 seasons. I'm starting to think maybe 4 seasons is of course 4 seasons in Britain, like I said, that's 6 episodes, and 4 seasons in America is substantially more. So,
Right.
but that doesn't often seem like shows. And when I love a show, I never want it to get canceled, but that's probably not good for the show.
Sometimes it's
Yeah.
better if
5
they get
seems like the
canceled in
magic
3
number.
seasons. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you start
5, they
spinning
start
your
to-
wheels.
Absolutely.
And especially I mean, there are shows I love, but something like Dexter or Hannibal and everything, there comes a point where the only way this can maintain the premise is if everyone in the show is an idiot.
Yeah.
Every single one of them is just a blithering idiot who can't figure out what
Those
we, of
shows
course,
have lasted a long
see.
time.
Yeah.
I won't name it.
So,
but-
definitely worth watching again.
Hey,
Now,
Bill,
I
can you
should
tell us?
probably ask.
You probably
Hmm?
did already. While I was puttering
No,
around.
no, go ahead.
What years did this series run?
Very good. Let me see. It premiered in 2016 and concluded in 2020.
Okay, so
53
people
episodes.
watching, after hearing Keith and Bill, see, we're not totally stuck in the 70s, just mostly.
That's right. That's right.
We still
What was
watch
the other one?
modern
The
stuff.
I should let me see.
IT
Let me just
crowd.
ask the IT crowd now again. England. Oh, England.
The 2000s, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
thinking,
so.
seems to me.
la di da di da di da.
I think I remember it being on DVD at one of the stores. I was
2006. First episodes were in
Yeah.
2006, and it lasted till 2010, and then they had a special in 2013. So no,
Okay.
no, we are not just stuck in nostalgia, whining for the times when they could
Well,
show uncensored Bugs Bunny cartoons, and we drank from the garden hose because
yeah,
that's how
wait,
we got iron.
wait till I jump back into the 60s here in a few minutes.
I can't wait. You'll be the
I-
voice all right.
My next book is a love letter to late 1970s, because I mean that's when I was growing up, and everyone has
Yeah.
nostalgia there. But I gotta say, oh yeah, there's a lot of stuff I couldn't possibly go back to. But there
Oh, yeah.
are some things about the 60s and 70s. If y'all knew, if people knew, there was a time when going to McDonald's was a treat, and I'll tell you why. Their fries were banging. Their fries were awesome, and they're not anymore. They're not the same fries.
No, they're not.
And this is not just nostalgia, remembering fries being better than they were. They were cooked in beef tallow, which I'm sure is terrible for you and definitely bad for the cow. But it makes the fries taste way better than cooking them in vegetable oil. This is
Hey,
beyond
They're
debate.
too greasy now.
the apple pies were fried, not baked. The ice
Yeah,
cream was
that's
different. Now they
the apple-
aerate the ice cream, and it's just not the same.
Right, which is probably why the machine keeps breaking down. The apple pies also reach temperatures that would rival the center of the earth.
Yeah,
I mean,
2,000
eh,
degrees. They're 2,000
Oh,
degrees.
absolutely.
Mm.
And we liked it that way.
That's
And
right. No,
yeah.
That's
And also,
amazing.
when you got a filet-o-fish sandwich, the fish was peeking out from under the bun. It was like they
Yeah.
sliced a piece of Free Willy and slapped it in there, as opposed to the one now that looks like a postage stamp of cod. Just this little tiny
everything's
taste
a
of cod there.
little bit tinier now. There's
Uh-huh.
now that
But
saves
more
money.
expensive.
Even the Big Mac is smaller in
Oh, the Big
width,
Mac.
you
So
know,
either the Big Mac has gotten smaller,
it
or
has
my hands have gotten bigger. Now, which do you think is the more likely scenario?
both.
It's possible. It's possible. But on the other hand, there's more variety of food now. I can go to the local grocery store and I can get
Yeah.
fruit any time of the year.
It's true.
Sushi is actually a thing, not just something that we
Mm.
heard people in Japan did. There
Yeah,
is
you
a
can get all
lot
kinds
more
of
variety
international
out there.
food, yeah. It's
And I
great.
just, before I go, we finish up this rant. So once again, The Good Place, great show. Definitely watch it.
Really.
So I was around in the 60s. Now, I don't know if this is true, but I have a feeling in the 60s is when TV dinners really started happening. They probably were introduced in the 50s or so, but TV dinners came out. They were the worst thing you can imagine. This is when mom went back to college and dad, bless his heart, was trying to cook for us, but he really
Yeah.
didn't have the knack, and he tried. He had to take the plastic covering off. That was
Well,
a
there
revelation.
wasn't even that in the 60s because it was pre-microwave.
Pretty
It
much
was
so.
it was a foil thing with a foil top
Yeah.
that had to be taken
Yeah,
off.
it was
Yeah.
My dad
terrible.
used to
They
cook
all
them
came
the
with
time.
In the oven.
Yeah, they
Mhm.
came with tater tots because that was the one thing they could sort of do okay.
Mhm.
There were things like
There was always
I
mashed
I
potatoes.
I haven't even had the opportunity in the last 20 years to eat a Salisbury steak. Not that I would, because they were dreadful, but that was a very
Oh, that
popular
was a
TV dinner.
staple, yeah.
Yeah, they were awful. And then just to add insult to injury, just to twist the knife a little bit more, they gave them names like Banquet or
Hmm.
King's Feast or Hungry Man. Yeah, you'd have to be a hungry man to eat this stuff.
They're
You'd have to be
insulting
a
our
damn
intelligence.
hungry man.
Starving man.
Banquet. What banquet are we talking about here? The Donner Party? Because
Beggar's banquet.
they were the worst. But
And beggars
then
can't
you
be
would-
choosers.
then you would
Yeah.
sit in front of your television that got 3 channels, maybe 4, maybe 5 if the weather was right.
Yeah.
And that was it. And yet I look back on those days, that limited choice. I feel like I had a better success rate of picking out entertaining things than I do now with an infinite number of choices.
It's hard to know, but there is a lot of great
There's
stuff.
almost too many choices.
There's
Yeah.
And
too
this
many
is
great
of course
things.
is the perpetual whine.
This is the
of-
second golden age of television. That's what
Well,
they
if
call
you
it.
want to talk, if you want to talk some of that kind of nostalgia too, in terms of TV, cult TV particularly, my thing was we had one of those outdoor antennas. Did you guys have that where your
Mhm.
TV was
Oh yeah,
No, we couldn't afford that.
before cable? So you had one of those massive
afford
things that went
cable.
out like that.
yeah.
Well, where we
Lightning
were in
rods.
Central Texas, when it got to the summer, the atmosphere would change, and after midnight, I could start getting things in from all the way
Oh,
to
really?
Yeah,
Houston or
I was able to do that
Dallas,
with our
other
antenna.
things like that. But I had to wait till after midnight. So yes, a lot of my summertime was spent between 12 and 5 in the morning, just sitting in front of the TV, watching these things fade in.
How
Oh,
clear?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
it's
gonna say how-
UFO. Oh, it's UFO. I get to watch UFO, and then I get 15 minutes of it, and then it would down. And it's like,
I watched
oh, damn it.
the premiere of the first cable. Somehow we got hooked into this one cable channel, and you could just see shadows. You could make out the audio. It was all
Yes.
snow, and
Now,
I saw
audio
the,
would
I
come
saw
in
the
easier.
TV premiere of Phantasm, which I would have never seen in theater. Then I
Wow.
was terrified of that kind of horror. But all my friends at school loved it, and I was like, I'm gonna get through this somehow. I'm gonna figure out what's happening in Phantasm. I did.
UHF was like that sometimes. You could sometimes get a channel on
Yeah,
UHF.
yeah,
and
UHF.
Maybe it would be there, maybe it wouldn't.
Yep.
And then, of course, as we got older, you'd try to unscramble Cinemax when they were showing the softcore.
Well,
porn
that was when
stuff
we
late
had
at night.
cable, but yeah.
It was a magic time. A magic time. Anyway, you guys all take care.
Thank
okay?
you, Bill. We'll see you
Great
soon.
seeing you.
Yeah.
Take care
Bye-bye.
of yourself. We were going to have another panelist here, Briggy Williams, one of our new regulars, and I've been trying to contact her and I haven't heard back. So hopefully she's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Maybe she's just worked over really late. So she may or may not show up. So Chuck, what do you, if you're still with us? Well, I don't want to interrupt anything important. Oh, he can't hear us. Yo, man.
Hey, sorry.
That's okay. You want to talk about another movie, a show rather?
Yeah, I can do that.
Or was Keith next? I don't remember. Oh,
You,
Keith
I-
was
can check,
next.
you can check.
Keith, I think you were next. Well,
You can go.
I haven't got something major, I don't think. But
be
second
mine.
show I wanted to cover. Yeah, sorry. The show I wanted to cover was kind of a surprise. It was something that I only came upon over the last couple of days. Well, I've been aware of it before, but this was a show. It would probably be not accurate to say that this show has a cult following. This is a show that, if it ever has any kind of a resurgence, is probably waiting for its cult. But it was one weird little item of a show. It was developed by Norman Lear in 1977.
Okay.
And like a lot of the shows I've been talking about over this unit, it ran in syndication. It ran, Norman Lear actually put it out on his own syndication company, TAT Productions or
that.
something to that effect.
Yeah.
But so it would run on some of the UHF channels or something like that. It was yet another attempt at a parody of a soap opera, and didn't last long. And there may have been reasons for that. But the show was called All That Glitters, and not a lot of people remember it. This was an odd show. It was a soap opera. It was frequently played straight, but it was a satirical soap opera based on sexes and the battle of the sexes or whatever. But it kind of comes at you from a world where the gender roles are flipped and men are more or less, or women are more or less the dominant sex, and men are kind of like staying at home watching the kids. And
Interesting.
Yeah, I'd rather do
Whatnot.
that.
I don't
have
think
any
I ever
kids.
saw it. I heard the name.
I saw
but I
it.
don't think I ever saw it.
I didn't see the whole series. I saw the first episode.
I saw several episodes. If you go to search for it now on YouTube,
Mhm.
I have found one episode.
Oh.
I mean, there was literally one
Maybe
episode.
you could search Internet Archive or Vimeo. I usually go to those for even
Mhm.
rarer stuff, and usually
Yeah.
find them.
Yeah, you might come up with something there.
Yeah.
But this show, I remember, 15-year-old me watching this show, and I remember when it premiered, and there was a lot of hype behind it. But I remember them literally hosting a screening of the show where you had talk with like a focus group afterwards and what they thought of the show. They had Norman Lear up there answering questions, and so it's like, okay, this is a big deal. And so I watched a couple episodes, and so revisiting it, I don't know. I wouldn't outright say it sucks. I mean, holy hell, the cast behind this thing, it's all very prestigious actors with resumes. I mean, you got Barbara Baxley, Eileen Brennan,
Hmm.
Vanessa Brown, Anita Gillette, Linda Gray playing a key character, playing actually a
Before Dallas or during Dallas?
This would have been pre-Dallas, yeah.
this was
Okay.
pre-Dallas,
Okay.
playing a transsexual star.
Oh,
Who,
wow. I remember
and
that
like-
character vaguely, but I had no clue it was Linda Gray.
It was Linda Gray. Linda Gray before she broke out real big in Dallas.
She's still doing soap operas to this day, man.
Man.
Young and the Restless.
But Lois Nettleton,
Oh yeah, she was in Centennial. I forgot to mention her.
yeah, very, very big resume.
Yeah, she was a really cute lady too.
Yeah, she was. And Chuck McCann, who
Saturday
at the
morning.
time I think
Yeah.
I knew him from, was it Far Out Space Nuts?
Far
Yeah,
Out
Far Out
Space
Space
Nuts,
Nuts.
yeah.
Or a similar
Wasn't
show.
it even Larry Storch, or was that the Larry Storch and Forrest Tucker
No, he was Bob
had
Denver.
comedies?
Yeah.
Bob Denver,
Oh,
yeah,
Bob
Bob
Denver.
Denver doing the 80 billionth incarnation of Gilligan with
Basically,
McCann,
yeah.
Right.
basically playing the Skipper character, but he,
Correct.
also a tremendous voice actor in cartoons.
Yeah, it was.
And let me see, Gary Sandy.
That's the
weirdly
guy who
enough-
made the shows, right? Made some shows.
No,
know.
that's the guy who played Andy Travis on WKRP.
WKRP, and I don't know it.
The
it's
main
kinda
character of
strange.
WKRP.
The
Yeah.
main character, and it's
Oh, he
kinda
was in this
Yeah.
that too. Wow.
Yeah, he was a Broadway guy and trying to break into television.
Wow.
yeah, it's really weird because I'm trying to recall he was either he either did this concurrently with WKRP or he did it shortly before. I'm trying to remember exactly which
WKRP
year
started
it
in the
started.
1977 or 1978 season.
Yeah,
I
I don't know this, but my bet would be that he did the pilot of WKRP probably concurrent with this, and then later
Okay.
WKRP got picked up because there was a span between the pilot and the second episode
okay.
time span.
Okay, that makes sense.
I'll bet you that's.
I'm learning so much tonight.
I don't know it, but it's pretty. I'm pretty confident that's.
Yeah,
probably.
it sounds legit, Keith.
But Jessica Walter,
Oh wow, she was in
Oh
everything.
boy, yeah.
Tim Thomerson.
Oh boy, I love. Tim Thomas.
Oh wow,
Holy hell, man!
Yeah.
Doll Man,
oh man, yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
and a million other
Also,
things.
he also played Jay Garrick in the Flash TV pilot.
Yes.
Barry's older brother in that. It was Jay Allen, I guess, in that version.
You're talking about the John Wesley.
Yeah, John
Shipp?
Wesley Shipp version. Yeah.
Okay, God, I missed that.
Wow. Yeah. But so quite a cast. I think on the whole, so when you watch this, basically you're almost watching, I could barely call it a comedy, but because they play it straight, but you're watching all the women act like men and all the men act like women. Chuck McCann being one of the big standouts because he's going through a divorce with the Lois Nettleton character, and he's at home fretting and worrying about how he's too fat and he's just not really ready to be single again, and he's afraid to go out and meet someone new, and
That sounds familiar.
he just just like the woman going through a separation, wondering whether she can be single again, and that's Chuck McCann playing that role.
Right. Where is this set, by the way? What's the
Gary,
setting? It's like a fictional town or a store or someplace.
I don't even know if it's a fictional town out there. A lot of it centers around a corporation. A lot of the female characters are actually tycoons at this giant conglomerate called
okay.
Is it Gencor or something like
that's pretty cool.
I've already blanked on it. But
all right.
But a lot of them are that. A lot of them are revolving around, I think, building a movie franchise out of this transsexual star's career or whatever they're doing. They're talking about doing a biopic for her. But Gary Sandy, I think, plays like a secretary who's,
male right.
very much lusted after. And the best way, I mean, you sit there and you glom onto the satire, watching, the female executives doing lunch at the restaurant, leering at the male waiter, and whatnot. It's kind of like, okay, yeah, I see what you're going for. I see what you're going for. I see the point you're trying to prove. And the thing is, okay, so high concept show, but after the high concept, I don't know that there's really anything there. It's like
most comedies were like that by that time.
Yeah, but it's like unlike Mary Hartman,
right?
Yeah,
exactly.
Unlike Mary Hartman, or Soap, it's like the jokes there are no jokes there. There's nothing there. It's you get the high concept and not much else. Which
formulaic, you think?
Yeah, they were kind of trying to counterfeit the soap opera format, which I don't know. And great cast.
Sounds like the premise was good for that.
Yeah, it's premise. Kids in the Hall did that whole. Heather and I talk about this a lot. Kids in the Hall did this sketch called Premise Beach, where they're doing this big musical number and they come up with these things like, Premise Beach. And some guy holds up a hand and he's got like, instead of his hand, he's got like a big piece of meat or something. I said, he has meat for a hand. He doesn't stand a chance. Premise Beach. And so anytime we see something where the concept is great, but there's really no follow through after that, we refer to it as Premise Beach. And this show was really Premise Beach, because it's like past the premise, it's like, okay, there's nothing really compelling me to watch this.
Right.
And the cast, great cast, but they really kind of struggle with the material because there's not a lot of material. So
I get that. I think I start watching it because I heard it was going to be like real audacious, like Mary Hartman, and I admittedly didn't find it audacious, even though I guess I just didn't understand that character was a transsexual. I mean, or especially didn't know that it was Linda Gray, that was later. She was in Dallas, but it just seemed like it was trying to be campy, and I don't know. It's like something John Waters would make if they made him have a PG show.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, there's not a lot else I can say about it. It's kind of a failed project that maybe needs some kind of a cursory second look, but I don't know, just very difficult to find right now.
All right, man. Sounds good.
I was just doing some digging, and Norman Lear described it this way, quote, God created Eve first, took out her rib, and gave her a companion so she wouldn't be lonely. Unquote.
Yeah.
That's the series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's all flipped.
With a really good theme song, by the way. Really fun, catchy theme song, but there wasn't a whole lot that kind of grabs you and keeps you on it.
Well, it's always good to talk about this obscure stuff. I loved when I wrote for Shock Cinema, and he would just pull all these crazy movies and TV shows, and he hated most of them, but he was just talking about how insane they were. Somebody had to read it to believe it.
Hi, this is Henry Covert, and this has been Deep Images. Hope you enjoyed today's segment, and we will be back soon to continue our discussion on cult TV. Feel free to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for the ending credits and the beautiful music of Ghost of Day, and thank you for watching.